Hello again, Rise Up Weekend attendees. So far, you've heard from our wonderful speakers, including Ari Berman, Allison Rank, and Lucy McBath, as they've shared insightful information about the current state of voting rights, the history of the 26th Amendment, and how young people have the power to stand up for our communities, advocate for an equitable society, and protect democracy. This helpful context sets the stage for what's to come in today's program and our future organizing efforts as we continue the pursuit of an inclusive and equitable democracy. As you've heard today, July 1st marks the 50th anniversary of the 26th Amendment, which not only lowered the voting age to 18, but also prohibits age discrimination in voting. Yet its promise remains unfulfilled. Restrictive voting bills impact voter ID requirements, early voting periods, voter restriction deadlines, mail-in voting restrictions, and much more. And they disproportionately affect young voters. This is why we must work to fulfill the promise of the 26th Amendment. We must ensure that all people, and especially young people, communities of color, and college students have access, early access to the ballot box. Let's talk about the road ahead and all the work that we will do together in 2021 and beyond. This year, we have the opportunity to not only advocate for increased voter access while fighting against voter suppression, but also to advocate for social justice issues that we really care about. Every issue is impacted by our vote, whether it's environmental justice, racial justice, affordable healthcare, the COVID-19 pandemic, student loan forgiveness, or even potholes on your streets. That's why when you advocate for voting rights or any issues you care about, your voice has great power and goes a long way. So as you head out into your communities this year, educate your friends and family, organize for a greater impact, and hold your elected officials accountable to fulfill their promises. Before we head into the rest of today's amazing sessions, I want to share 3 ways that you can rise up with the Andrew Goodman Foundation. With local elections this year and midterm elections in 2022, the fate of democracy is on the line, and now is the time to rise up for voting rights. First, join our Advocacy Day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on July 1st to celebrate and assert the promise of the 26th Amendment on its anniversary. Following a training facilitated by our partner at Unpack, we will have a high impact action hour for anyone and everyone to call their senators and hold them accountable for their votes on For the People Act. You can find a registration link in the chat box. Number 2, sign our petition to support the passage of the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. This important piece of federal legislation would restore the full protection of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 and end racial discrimination in voting. You can find a link to the petition in the chat box. Number 3, sign our pledge to join the movement in support of an equitable democracy. More information on the pledges in the chat box. I hope you enjoy and soak up the rest of today's programming and are ready to organize, vote, and lead your communities in the fight for voting rights and racial justice.